Hi, my name is Allison. I'm a psychic medium and a farmer, and this is day 6 of Milking My Cow on TikTok. Today's topic is going to be about abundance. I receive a lot of my lessons from spirit through nature, whether that be from livestock, plants, or just experiences out in the world. And so this summer, my biggest lesson was about abundance. And the lesson I got was this: abundance is a good thing. However, if you don't have a plan for that abundance before it arrives, that abundance can be perceived as a burden instead of a gift. Now, this is very easy for anyone to understand if you have ever grown tomatoes, cucumbers, anything prolific in a garden. We plant a couple plants and say, I hope I would have like 1,000,000 tomatoes and I could make all the sauce and all the things I love. And guess what? You had a great year. You had 1,000,000 tomatoes, but during that time of their growth, you didn't learn any recipes for salsa. You didn't get canning equipment. You don't have any jars. You actually have no plan. And so now these tomatoes, the ones just like 3 years ago, you had asked for, a great harvest, a great year. Now you don't know what to do. Now you got fruit flies. Now you got smushy tomatoes on your countertop. It's a big, hot, stinky mess. This is probably my 13th or 14th garden. With that being said, it was my first year doing cucumbers. I thought, I love pickles. Lots of bread and butter pickle recipes out there. That's what I like. It's no big deal. I already have canning supplies, whatever. Didn't look at a recipe, didn't go through the motions, didn't do any sort of planning for this abundance that I had requested. So in August, when I had way too many cucumbers and I didn't know what to do and I couldn't find a brine recipe that I liked, guess what? A lot of my cucumbers ended up going to the chickens, which thankfully, that's always the plan B here, is chickens, and then plan C is compost for any produce that we cannot use. But still, I would have rather had my plan A. I would have rather had my 20 jars of pickles versus the chickens having a really nice snack. But we can zoom out farther from just tomatoes and cucumbers, and we can think about when we tried to call in a request for things in our lives that we know we really, really want, but when we get it, we don't know how to deal with it. I'm talking about receiving compliments, receiving attention, receiving love. If we have not had this before in our lives, or not enough of it, it can be really hard to all of a sudden receive a lot of attention, positive or negative, receive a lot of love, receive a lot of genuine compliments. We just freeze up. We don't know what to do. We can't, just like I couldn't process my cucumbers, we don't know how to process love if we don't do our work beforehand, work, capital W. This is also true for passion projects, nonprofits, small businesses. We start out small and say, I wish I would have 100 customers a day, customers lined out, down the sidewalk. But if you don't have the structure, if you don't have the inventory, if you don't have the ability to scale your recipes, if you don't actually give yourself a solid foundation, when that abundance occurs, it's a disaster. And it can burn you out, it can have you close up shop, it can make you feel like you made the wrong choice or didn't think things through, when actually all we needed to do is just plan for that abundance we requested in the beginning. And when I say doing your work, what I mean is just doing what you need to do for yourself, the things you need to realize, the habits you need to acknowledge and change in order to give yourself the ability to receive that abundance as a gift. Using the example of a small business, I'm not talking about having your logo embroidered on hats and shirts and having swag and having all of that and doing a big marketing campaign. I'm talking about things that you need to do to set yourself up for abundance that are also really good things for you in your personal life and life in general. Like setting up boundaries, making sure you don't get burned out, make sure that the people that you have in your life are ones that you can trust and are actually there to support you. Things that even if your business or project or whatever doesn't go to plan, it's still really good for you in your life to have practiced doing your work and preparing for abundance. Me doing these posts on TikTok are actually me doing my work setting up my foundation for abundance. I like to talk to people. I like to share my knowledge. I like doing this. This is really cup filling for me. However, I used to be so afraid of speaking out in public and sharing my story in public and just being vulnerable and authentic with people I don't know. It was so scary. I look at the first post I posted on Instagram about this. I think it was November 2nd of last year, and I can't believe the person, like, how much I've changed from continuously pushing myself to build this foundation, to get comfortable, to get ready to receive the abundance I've been requesting for a couple of years now. So even if my abundance wouldn't occur, even if it doesn't get delivered in a timely fashion, I'm already creating my own abundance because I'm already living a better life. Now it doesn't even matter if my plan comes to fruition the way I had hoped. I see that doing my work, challenging myself, also being a part of a supportive community of close friends that are cheering me on to do the things that make me uncomfortable, that's worth its weight in gold already. The request for money is a very popular abundance topic, and that's fine. We could all use a little bit more cash right now, but while you're asking for that abundance in your bank account, do you have a budget? Do you know about investments? Do you know about savings? Do you know what to do when you have that money? How to make sure it doesn't just go away instantly in a blink of an eye? Because that's what will happen. You get it and then it's gone. And that's the burden. You had it and you don't know how to hold on to it. Cricket, Poppy, and I thank you for joining us from Milking today. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts about abundance, I would love to chat about it with you in the comments today.